Hello and welcome back to Pantheon of the Geeks. Today you're joining us for another War Transformed video. In this one we're going to be expanding our British forces. I'm going to do another 10 points of the British forces, taking it from 10 to 20 points. And as you can see in front of us, we have this from North Star Games. This is a Skytreks, I believe, male Mark IV British tank, or it should be. See, I've not taken out of his packet yet. So this is going to be a big part of this 10 points. In fact, 6 of the 10 points is going to be in this. So let's have a look at this first, get this together. I've heard rumours that these aren't very good to put together, but we'll find out. We'll find out together. So I have some metal components now. I use it like resin. We all know that I love resin. Yeah, I have a cool history with resin. Let's have a look. That's everything that's in there. So we have our rhomboid shaped tracks. Let's have a look. So the top part's quite nice. The outside's quite nice. It has this flat bit on the bottom. I won't be trying to take that off, that's fine. I'll probably just maybe scrape this bit down this line. I'll do that off camera because I don't want you to hear it scraping away. We do have a mismatch there on the track. Fortunately it's on the underside of the track. I'll probably be putting some mud on it, so you'll probably never even know that's there afterwards. So that's the Mark IV right track. Have a look at the Mark IV. Is it? So we can obviously see there's a problem. We've got 2 Mark IV right tracks. Great stuff. That's going to be impossible to build. Wonderful. Yeah, no, that's completely balked that. Let's see what else we don't have. With Mark IV male, and we have a Mark IV male there, so that's right and left, and we have the centre part. So this video is now going to be delayed while I contact them and ask them to send me the right parts. Great stuff. Apart from that, it's all pretty straight. It's all pretty straight. That's really disappointing. Right, so the next part of this video will be me telling you how long it takes to get the replacement. And it's been a few days, I can't even know how many days it's been. Replacement part. So I've contacted North Star Games, no problems getting a replacement part, they just sent it out. It took a few days, I can't remember how many to be honest, since I contacted them. Maybe in 5 days or so. So that's how long we waiting to continue this video. So there is the left track for this tank. I have 2 right tracks, so I might incorporate one of these into some scenery, like a destroyed tank or something at some point. So I'm just going to pick the best one of the 2 right tracks to use on the tank, and I'm going to get rid of all these little bits of flash, resin flash, and they all do seem to be pretty good casts. They're straight. Doesn't look like they need any heat to bend them. I would normally use water, hot water, well, kettle, boiled water, dip it in, 5 seconds, then press it down onto an object, force it into shape until it cools. I don't think I'll need to with this. It looks like it should fit on pretty well. Let's have a look. Let's grab this one for now. There we go. It's nice and straight. Not going to need any extra work that. So no, that's good. So I can get the body of this glued together now. I'm just going to be using super glue. Probably quite a lot of it because it's quite heavy. And once these are tidied up, we shall get the sponsons glued on as well. There we go. Now let's see. I haven't opened the metal parts, I've just been sat here. Sheesh, I hope they're all here, I won't be correct. Didn't even check. So we have two cannons. They do probably look like they should go in first. Yeah. So not much different from building like, well, a lot easier than building a Games Workshop one, to be fair, because that's pretty much it. So I probably don't need to glue the cannon into place. I can probably just leave it loose. Doesn't look like it's going to come out of there. Leave it loose, I can just move it. Looks like gravity's going to keep it in. Look at this. As long as it essentially doesn't fall through, we're good. Yeah. So I won't glue them in, I'll leave them loose. That might be a pain to paint, but c'est la vie. I don't think the metal ones are side specific. They do have this little line on though, so they probably are. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's check out what that is before we continue. So I'm going to glue the body together, not the sponsons, and then we'll take a look at what we're doing with the metal pieces. Okay, so we have our main body of the tank stuck together. So the first thing I'm actually going to put on are these metal pieces here, because these look pretty fiddly to get into place. We'll find out. But these sit on top of the tank. I believe they go this way around, looking at the pictures of the tank. So that's where I'm going to attempt to put them on. There is a little hole on the inside of the track at the back and one at the front. There are tiny little attachments there. I had to cut flash off them, and the hole still looks a bit small, so I probably should have drilled it before I stuck the tank together just to make the hole a little bit bigger. But I shall endeavour to carry on without having to do that. And I'll bear that in mind for the other little holes. They might need drilling to make them a little bit bigger to make the metal pieces fit in. So this is going to attach at the front there. If I get it to hold in place for a second. And then push that down. There's a little metal rod attachment there. That's going to press onto the top of the tank, and that should push into place. These are a little bit bendy as for the position they should be in, so they might need to be bent to get them into the right position. Not too much though, I don't think. So let me go ahead and stick these on. I'll be back if there's any problems. Otherwise, cross fingers. Okay guys, so I don't know whether these struts are just miscast, but they do not fit. They are too short. You cannot have them line up at both ends at all, on this model at least. So they're slightly wonky, but that's about as close as I can get them. I've lined them up at the front as best I can. I've had to glue them all the way along. I had to trim these down, to get them to where they are, and glue them, really attach them onto this part here. But they're not long enough to go over the bumps on the back of the tank and on this part of the tank at the front. There's no way to bend them or extend them. I don't know whether they're both different. They've both got problems in different places. So I'm wondering if it's like a casting thing. But so far, the resin's been great on this kit. It's the metal that's been a bit wonky. So we're going to continue with said metal. I'm going to attach this part here. This part goes near where I've just been working. And now I kind of wish I put that on first, but it'd probably got knocked off several times with what I've just been doing. But we have 3 prongs and we have 3 holes. This is literally just going to go in there. And this back bit's going to be bent around, because you do need to bend it around to fit into this, which isn't really a problem. I saw that straight away. I was like, oh, fair enough. I can deal with that. It's the bending of these. They are just not long enough. Hopefully that's not on everybody's, but it's on mine. So that goes into there, that bends around to there. We're going to have this little bit of metal here, and there is a hole in the bottom of that bit there, and I believe that then goes into there and bends around. So there's a bit of fiddliness going on, but we're going to do that next, and then we'll be back. So we've attached that onto there. Next we do have these little loops. There's nowhere specific that they go. I've looked on the pictures of this actual model. You actually looks like the loops go on to here, but it's a bit unclear as to where they go. There's no attachment for them to go onto this. Looking on tanks of that time, of this type, there are actually loops around the back here on the outside. There's no thing on this tank for them to go on. I have seen tanks with them on the inside there, so at this point they are pretty optional. I'll probably stick them on here where I saw them on the picture of this tank. Bit strange, but yeah, we'll do that. Then this itself gets attached onto the actual railings that we've put on. So I think that goes back here about there-ish. I will line it up based on the picture of this tank. So now we want to put on the side sponsons. So as we can see, that's how I'm lining them up, with that little line to that side. I'm not going to glue these bits in place, so these should move in theory. We're just going to glue the sponsons on. Once we've done that, we have the actual machine guns. Now they go on this point here and on this point here. Now you see there is a small little hole there. There isn't really one here. It looks like it's not been cast properly. And on this one, it's pretty much the same. There is where there is a hole should be. So I'm just going to take my drill, make that hole a little bit bigger, so then it makes it a bit easier for these to stick in. And they go in with this little pin side attached to the model. So let me go ahead and do all that. Now we have a finished Mark IV tank. It's quite heavy now. It feels unstable, but that's just because the guns are moving and I'm moving it. So it feels like something's going to fall off, but it's actually those. Put the loops on the back of the bit of wood, the back of the bit of wood's gone on there. The guns are gone on. There we go, that's it, together. It's an okay kit. It could be better. Maybe a 7 out of 10 in total. I think for the cost of it, the metal parts should be fitted correctly. Especially these struts. These were the pin it took ages. Another problem though is these guns. Going forward, these guns have a very small connection. Likely the side ones will get knocked off. The front one's probably going to be okay because it's kind of protected by the tank itself. But those are definitely going to get knocked off. I'll probably drill them in the future when they do get knocked off. If I'd had a bit of a smaller brass rod than this on me, I would have actually done it right now and drilled them, but I can't find my smallest of brass rods, so I'm going to have to make do for now. But because they are quite thin. There we go. It's a good tank. It's a good tank. I can see why people say it's a bit of a pain to put together. I thought it would be because the resin was all misshapen, and maybe that is the case on some people's. The resin was perfect pretty much on this. There's a couple of holes in there and a couple of bits need found down. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to cover it in mud. So, well, most of the parts that have the problem are actually underneath anyway. Like that bit there is a bit of a mess, but you're either going to put this on a base or you're not. You're not going to see it if it's like that. And again, I'm going to put like mud on the bottom of it. So there we go. So I'm fairly happy with it. So that is 6 of my points for this 10 points. Next up we have an elite choice. There we go. And we have May Queens from Crooked Dice, who are going to be May Queens. So there's no real surprise though. Let's have a look. That's a nice model, by the way. There is a little bit of flash on there, maybe. Maybe. There's a little bit though. So these ladies are 2 points. They are an elite's choice. Bit of that. They need very little cleanup, just a few little bits of flash that are stuck on there. Like I said, these are from Crooked Dice. I know a lot of people have been using these for exactly this purpose. I spied these some time ago, actually, long before I even knew this game existed, and was looking for a reason to buy some because I just think they're really cool models anyway. And the whole horror range from Crooked Dice is really useful in other games as well. So these guys, what I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to clip off the slotters because I don't want to stick them on these bases. I want to get them on the same base as everything else is. That's a personal preference. If I were you, I wouldn't bother. But this is really my personal preference, is to get them onto these bases. I'm making this more difficult than I need to, and for myself. So you're going to be like, why the hell are you doing that? Perfectly good slot bases. Yeah, it's fine. I'm weird like that. I just want all the bases to match that I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we shall be back. So we have our May Queens on the bases. So for the last unit, for this 10 points, we're going to be making some British trench raiders. For that, I have a couple of sprues of the Bulldogs from Wargames Atlantic. I like these guys for this because they're they've got armour pads on, stuff like that. They look a bit more armoured, the bodies. I'm going to be using the gas masks. I know there's no gas masks in the rest of my army, well, the British army, but I like them for the trench raiders as well. So, just to show you one of those. I'll clip one off. That's the gas mask head. Kind of like the gas mask because they always look creepy. But I see if these guys are jumping into trenches, you know, they don't want to avoid any gases in there. Those are the bodies. If the camera's going to focus. And then the legs have all these like knee pads and everything on. They're cool models. I've been looking for an excuse to use them, so this is the excuse, trench raiders. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some parts off. I'm also going to be using a little bit of modification, which is a shields, just to make them look cool. They don't have shields in the actual game, I just think they look cool. What they do have is revolvers. There are a couple of revolvers on this sprue. There aren't enough to make the whole squad, so I'm going to be using some of these trench weapons. These are off the latest Wargames Atlantic Weird War sprue, which is basically really mean looking weapons. So I'm going to be using a couple of them. I'm going to be using these shields. They came from a militia that I originally used for D&D a couple of years back. And I can't remember, I think it was Monstrous Encounters, the STL file, but it was a militia file. There's a couple of different shields. I'll be using some of the other shields in another unit for the Germans when I come to do their video. I'm going to be using these ones for the British. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the parts for the models and make sure I've got everything I need. So just briefly, the Bulldogs, as you probably saw, are 2 parts, like that. And I'm going to just use this arms I managed to salvage off various things. There's a Stargrave arm there, various arms that have either got weapons or revolvers, and that I can bodge together basically. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and show you the finished unit, because it's just a case of sticking some plastic bits together now. So we'll see you in a moment. And then they are done. Just to show you a couple of them. Trench Raider all ready to go in. So yeah, I think they look pretty cool. I do like the shields, even though they don't really have shields in the game. I just thought I did that nice sort of like close combat-y sort of feel to them. I think they're looking pretty good. So that's the Trench Raiders. They are another elite choice. They are 2 points as well. So that is the 10 points I've added onto my existing British army. There we go. So what I'm hoping to do now is actually play again with the 2 original 10-point armies. I am gathering together enough to do the next 10 points of the German army, as that's kind of a building video. That's a bit quicker than doing the actual battle report type ones. That might come before that, so stay tuned for both of those. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.